Hello everyone, welcome back to The Next Normal. I'm your host, Sister Jenna. Today I wanted to talk about the power of your inner silence. It is such a great treasure, and a treasure that sometimes is so buried deep below that you don't recognize its value. In the days of the Egyptian times, when archaeologists started to really search for the treasures and the story of the Egyptian dynasty, they would dig deep, deep, deep below until they could find great treasures that were buried below. And similarly, I think many of us don't understand the power of our inner silence. It's deep inside of the soul. It's nowhere on your surface thinking. You're overthinking. You're over-rationalizing, you're strategizing, you're manipulating of things, or even the fear that is built up so much in the soul that tries to control everything. That's not what inner silence is. Inner silence is a space within the soul that is uncomplicated. It's opened. It is pure bliss. It has this unlimited capacity to be as free as it wants to be. It doesn't think a lot. It doesn't speak a lot. It doesn't do a lot at a physical level, but at the level of the environment and on a larger dimension of consciousness, your inner silence does so much. I want to tell you about some personalities that I've had the fortune of being around. They're the sisters of the Brahma Kumaris. The first instrument that I had met is known as Dadi Janki. And maybe we can put up their picture too as I speak about her. I remembered when I met her, she was 4 feet, maybe 10 inches, if that tall. But she carried a silence even though she spoke a lot. She spoke a lot of wisdom. There's nothing that she didn't say that didn't make sense. But it was without any ego. There was a silence behind her words that carried such a deep impact into your heart. And I remembered when she commissioned me to go and live in the ashram. She says, give it a try for 3 months and see if you can manage it. There was a silence in her direction. She looked into my eyes and she could see maybe there was something there. She said, just go and give it 3 months. If you can survive it, then you can stay. The training of 3 months in an ashram, from being in the world of sound and dancing and jet setting and doing whatever you want to do. There was a silence in her words. And there was another sister known as Dadi Prakashmani. I met her in Mount Abu, India. For the first time, when I went to Mount Abu, India, I arrived in my torn up jeans, earring, red lipstick, makeup, hair let out. I know it's hard to believe. But yeah, I was a jet setter. And she was just sitting there in what's known as the courtyard in Pandav Bhavan in Mount Abu. And I'm so naive and innocent, I just went and I sat. I had seen her in pictures. I go, hi, Daddy. She just slowly and lovingly looked at me. Who are you? I'm Jenna. I'm Sister Geeta and Brother Ed's daughter. welcome to your home. Then she gave me a piece of coconut that she was chewing on. The moment I bit into that coconut, instantly I became bodiless. I became beyond my consciousness. Only thing I saw around me was light. Just light, just light. It happened in seconds. And I was like, what's in that coconut? It's kind of like you got drugged. Like, what's in that coconut? But it was her vibrations of silence and purity and peace that was even serving the food. Just imagine her as a person carrying the vibrations of that inner silence, which comes from her love from God, her intimate commitment to God, even in the food that she was touching. And she shared that with you in that vibration. And you bit into that, and you're like, what is that? It was amazing. And this is actually, August is her month where she departed and left a mark in our hearts and in the world deeply. And then I met another sister. And her name is Dadi Gulza. She barely spoke. When you would go into her room to say hello or good morning, she had a way of, she just looked at you. Like she was only looking at your soul. She would look at you like that. ठीक है? You're okay? Yes, Daddy. Okay. And her silence was like nothing or no one you've ever felt. She never had to say one word for you to understand yourself, what you were doing to yourself or not doing to yourself. Her silence was magnetic. And she actually was the trance messenger for where we get our messages in our classes in the morning every day. Her intellect is so pure that she would not allow the ego of I, me or mine to interfere in what Baba, God's light, needed to convey through her. She was incredible. 3 daddies. Daddy Janki, she kept talking. Daddy Prakashmani, she was loving and playful. And Daddy Gulza, the ocean of peace and silence. I've seen these 3 people since I was a teenager. And even though I've seen them, each of them have left a mark in my conscience and in my consciousness. Daddy Gulza, keep sharing Baba's introduction. Keep giving. Daddy Prakashmani, be loving, playful and kind to the family. And Daddy Gulza, don't lose your silence for anything cheap. Did you see what he did? Oh, why did they do that? Oh, I can't believe they made me wait in that long line. Sometimes we give up our peace and our silence for very cheap things. And it's such a valuable commodity. But we lose it over cheap things. Why can't they understand me? But they should do this. They shouldn't do whatever they're supposed to do. They do. One time I was keynoting at the Swedish embassy, and there was a guru there, Guru Swami Veda Bharata. He's passed away now, but he was an elder man in a wheelchair. And in my young days, in my 20s and 30s, I don't know what it was, Baba, God's light, who we call Baba here in the Brahma Kumaris. Maybe it was just my innocence and purity and life. Maybe I haven't lived that much, but that light used to work through me in such a way that I would enter a stage and the whole hall would become quiet. The whole hall would become quiet. I could feel it. I would just walk on the stage and it was like there was a wave of silence encircling the whole atmosphere. I remember those days. And I gave my address at the Swedish embassy, and Swami Veda Bharati's disciple called me to come. Swamiji would like to talk to you. I'm like, oh, okay. I went over because he was in a wheelchair. Says, Om Shanti Swamiji. Yes, you called? And the Swami looked at me, such a conviction. And I'm remembering that moment now as I tell you. And he looked into my eyes and he said, remember, your power is in your silence. Yes, Swamiji, sure. The next morning I'm conducting class at the center. And the Swami keeps coming in my intellect, like, why is this man coming in my mind? When I was done with the class, about 8 o'clock, I just called him. Swami, I'm remembering you so much. He says, I know. Don't forget what I told you. Gee, Swami, yes. It's as if he was just giving me like a premonition that your service will come through this. And I have to tell you how you move away from it and you forget it. You go into the playground and you play around and you get distracted, and little by little, life will bring you right to where you're supposed to be, to play the role you're supposed to play. And I think that's the story for everyone. I think as the world becomes noisier and it tries to make us become too busy, we're going to thirst for that inner silence, that inner peace, because we'll come to realize it's the most valuable thing that we have, is to be still and to be able to feel God's love flowing through us very easily, very purely. It'll just flow through you without effort, just like it did in my 20s and in my 30s. I didn't know it was happening, but people would tell me, your power is in your silence. Okay, I have no idea what they're talking about. But that's how purely intentional I was in those days. And so I'm sharing with you today the importance of your inner stillness. Invest in it. Stop looking at people's defects and thinking about people, what they've done for you and what they haven't done for you and what they should do for you. The people who hate you, maybe they're teaching you to love more. And the people who love you, maybe they're teaching you to value the power of love. Just don't see things in a negative way. It'll protect your silence. Don't hold anything that was negative in your heart. It will take away your silence power. This silence power is what the world needs. It's connected to purity. It's connected to self-love, self-respect, integrity. These 3 daddies that I mentioned today, Daddy Janki, Daddy Prakashmani, Daddy Gulsa. I'd like to just put the 3 of them up on the screen. Just to look into their eyes, look into their features, look into their faces, And in this moment of stillness and meditation, pull that silence power into you, because they embody that vibration. So in this meditation, just enjoy the fragrance of their presence through their eyes. And just feel the peace and the stillness that comes from them. Maybe one day your eyes will reflect the stability, power, purity, peace, love, wisdom, joy. Just imagine for a moment your eyes carrying that fragrance. Let's hold this meditation with them right now. Wasn't that a beautiful experience? Just these instruments carrying that fragrance of inner silence. I want you to start to visualize yourself in that form, that inner stability, that inner deep value of your life. Your life. Forget anyone else. Let's see what chat would say. What is the power of inner silence? I'm sure it won't be anything of what I just said. The power of inner silence lies in its ability to connect us to our true selves and bring about a sense of peace, clarity, inner strength. Inner silence is more than just the absence of noise. It is a state of deep stillness where the mind is calm, free from the constant chatter of thoughts, worries, and distractions. When we cultivate inner silence, we tap into our inner wisdom and intuition, allowing us to navigate life with greater awareness and understanding. This state of being helps to reduce stress, enhance focus, and promote emotional balance. Inner silence can also serve as a powerful tool for self-reflection and personal growth, enabling us to see things as they are, without the filters of fear, ego, or preconceived notions. In moments of inner silence, we can experience a profound connection to the present moment, leading to a heightened sense of gratitude and contentment. It empowers us to respond to life's challenges with grace and resilience, rather than reacting impulsively. Ultimately, the power of inner silence is in its ability to transform our relationship with ourselves and the world around us, fostering a deeper sense of peace, purpose, and fulfillment. Bravo. Let's move on to the Sister Gita effect and grab some more inner silence.
The question is, who am I? I am not sure I understand. So in truth, we do not die. Everything will become clear if you simply ask, who am I? The answer to this question you must come to know if you're to find true happiness and be free from feeling low. So tell me who I am. Fill in this gap, this hole. The angel replied, I have already told you, you're not a body, but a soul. But I know I have a soul. This much I have been told. And yet I still fear death and worry about becoming old. You said you have a soul, the angel said, but this I didn't declare. I said, you are a soul. This is what I shared. But what is a soul? A soul is a point of light. It is a child of the Supreme God that's filled with virtue and might. Embedded within the soul is the memory of what it's known. No two souls are the same, though they come from the same home. Their home is up above in this vast element of light, with God beyond this earth. Although they come here and receive a body through birth, only in a body can a soul experience and express. Depending on its memory, it will be happiness or distress. But please do not worry. All will become clear. You will understand the more that you hear. Know your nature's good, though you have a bit of greed, anger, attachment. The greatest irony is you already have what you need. Hearing this piece of wisdom gave me a chill up my spine. I wanted to know more. What was already mine? You spend your life looking for what you already have, the angel said. It's like you're riding in a car but searching for a cab. You search for peace in nature, in the woods, or at the beach. Sometimes you can feel it, but nature's not always in reach. You search for love in others. You want it from other people. As soon as you find it or feel it, you run to the nearest steeple. But peace isn't out there. in a bush or a tree. And love isn't found in the people you often see. Both are an experience that takes place in the mind. If triggered from the outside, then you're in a bind. Now you're dependent on something made of matter. It could be a beautiful scene or someone else's pitter-patter. But what if I told you you're at peace? You are peace and love. Would this not give you the lightest of a dove? This would give you the lightness of a dove, wouldn't it? For these, you need not search. These birches are in you, but you are many more, not just these two. Angel continued. You are purity, your happiness, wisdom, and power. You are the radiance and fragrance of a beautiful flower. But this you don't believe. You've been told that you're less. This falsehood you accepted. Then everything becomes a mess. I will admit, of course, the vices have taken root, but I know in a second you could give them the boot. If only you realize the vice of ego brings anger, attachment, lust, and greed, put your happiness in danger. You don't think you have love or peace within yourself, so your ego quietly says, take it from someone else. All the vices convince you what you need is out there. So you search, and you search for as long, dear, but you are already. You are that for which you long. If you'd just realize this, you'd sing a sweet song, Om Shanti. So who am I?
So welcome back. The fragrance of that angel lingers on. And as we share in the days, the Abhiyak signals, today is constantly continue to experience God's company, and you will remain victorious, because souls who have the experience of His company will remain merged in His love. Such souls will not be influenced by anyone. Powerful souls who constantly stay in the company of the Almighty Father will challenge illusion and will attain victory. It is not a big thing for your illusion of Maya to come to you. But when she doesn't show her form, that is called you've been victorious over her. When she doesn't show up to you. Wonderful, huh? Wonderful. So thank you all so much for joining us today. Today's heartfelt topic on the power of inner silence. May you practice it every hour in the hour. Go back to yourself. Go back inside to the real you, the true you. The world will constantly distract us. I get it. I've gone there many times. But I'm on my path of spiritual enlightenment to not allow the external world of illusions and sound to distract me from my true essence. And I don't think you should do that to yourself either. You've got to take care of yourself. We have to take care of ourselves. No one's going to do it for us at a soul level. Only you can do that for yourself. Okay? Alright, so if you want to reduce attachment, which complicates everything, and love makes everything easy, just practice loving everybody the same. And you know, we shouldn't let anyone in our lives stop us from loving them. Don't give anyone permission to stop you from loving them. Okay? Alright. Take care of yourself. See you again soon. Om Shanti.
Shivani has captured the imagination of millions of people in her native India and across the world. Now she is bringing her unique blend of lighthearted humor and profound spiritual understanding to the U.S., the Caribbean, and Panama.
Are we ready to create a peaceful world?
Tickets are free for all these events, but registration is required. To reserve your seats, just visit the website, or you can scan the QR code on the screen.